Hi, my name is Julia Bautz. I'm a senior at Clayton High School in St. Louis, Missouri. I'm a National Honors Thespian with Troop 332, and this is my process video for the Missouri Thespians Technical Scholarship. Every spring we have a completely student-run musical, student-directed, student-costumed, student-choreographed. It's the capstone of everything we've learned in theater so far. I was the set designer. When I started to think about what I wanted the show to look like, the other directors and I agreed that we wanted to draw from the very surreal nature of the TV show and movies. We also wanted to draw from nostalgic, creepy imagery from the movie Beetlejuice. I also had to deal with incorporating the many different locations in Addams Family, so I instead chose a few things that I thought suggested the Addams Family house and made them a large part of my design. When I imagined the Addams Family home, I imagined a grand staircase, so a large part of the set became an expansive staircase. I also wanted the dinner scene to be like the Last Supper, with everyone sitting on one side of the table, which I could do with a very wide staircase. Another important part of the set is the Addams Family tree, which plays a large narrative role. The tree presented more of a challenge because it could not be moved off stage, as it was in our black box theater, so I decided to integrate it into the set, the branches of the tree becoming part of the railing on the platform. Unfortunately, the set was never completed and there were never any performances, as we entered lockdown a few weeks after we started to build it. I'm also the set designer for the next student-run musical, Be More Chill. Fingers crossed that I have more to show for that production. This fall, we couldn't do our normal fall play, but we're lucky because we have a large park right next to our school. So our department decided to have a show outside, calling it Poe in the Park. The tech was limited for it because it was a number of scenes spread out in the park. But we created eggs out of branches the other co-tech representative and I helped collect in a farm in rural Missouri. There was more tech involved with lighting and sound, but that was the only real building aspect. Because I wanted to be more involved, I volunteered my services as graphic designer and designed this logo for the show. There were also guides leading people around the park dressed as plague doctors. I wasn't a guide for Poe in the Park, but I did help out with the other tech stuff, as we had to carry everything in and out every night. However, recently, I've gotten into purposely bad photos and bad graphic design, so I spent a lot of the time taking pictures of other tech people. I find it interesting, especially in presentations, which came out of an activity called an identity box that many of my teachers had us do when we returned to school online this fall, where we made a one-slide presentation with things representing ourselves on it. Since then, I've been sort of enamored with the idea. I'm also really interested in film. For example, for last year's fall play, Romeo and Juliet, I was a videographer. Instead of focusing on violence and hatred dividing people needlessly for generations, the directors focused on how social media invades our lives and divides us. So I represented technology in a sort of Big Brother sense. I manned a camera that had a live feed to 4 TV screens that were part of the set and was on stage the whole time, filming the play as it happened live and projecting it to the screens. It was incredibly difficult as I had to maneuver around the stage with a cable attached to me, learn their blocking 2 days before opening night, and frame each shot as it was happening. Fortunately, I hear it was successful. Generally, I'm really into making art and talking about movies, theater, and literature. I'm also the co-captain of my school's Readers Theater team, where we take a piece of literature and interpret it, writing a 30-minute script and performing it competitively. Unfortunately, this year, Misha has canceled Readers Theater. However, I'm still excited about interpreting our text and writing next year's script. Here are some of my work from our 2019 student-run musical, Seussical. I had a lot of fun with the show, and I think it's one of the best we've done. I made the puffs for the truffula trees and Jojo's bathtub, among other things. I had a lot of fun with this production. I also included some of my artwork, because outside of tech, I do a lot of art in my free time, often as gifts for my friends and family. I also work at the St. Louis Zoo as an artist, doing face painting and airbrush tattoos, although unfortunately I have been unable to work there since February. Working as an artist has definitely changed the way I think about art and making art, because it had become something I did for 8 hours straight, multiple days a week. It wasn't a creative choice or outlet, but part of my routine, which, I think, is part of the reason why I'm interested in the freedom that comes with making bad or ugly things. I also, since this spring, have been drawing in an app called Adobe Sketch. My project on Behance, called Messing Around in Adobe Sketch, is called that because a lot of my drawings were part of my process of learning how to use the app. These pictures that I've included are the works I'm proudest of, but I really did spend a long time figuring out exactly how I wanted to draw these portraits. So far, I've made 27 drawings in Adobe Sketch. Theater has been part of my life since I was 11 years old. It has defined my high school career, my social life, and my passions. Thank you so much for considering me for this opportunity.